So let's do that. We will go to where our Dropbox is. In my case, I get my Dropbox on my menu here, click on it. We're going to find all the folders that have been shared. I have a lot. You would have the few that I've shared with you and you've accepted. We're going to start right there with Genesis, and we'll start with Genesis 1. First thing we're going to do is type in who's doing the editing. In this case, it's me, so I'll type in my name. Then you have a spot for making any notes. If you've edited this folder and here and there you've had trouble and didn't know what to do or were uncertain that what you did was correct, you can put a note here with the verse number and perhaps with something else such as the Strong's number that you didn't know what to do with, or the English wording you didn't know what to do. And then, as we stated, you're going to drag yellow boxes into the right place. And then when you finish each chapter, each file like this, you're going to save that with a new name that includes -done as part of the name. You'll keep all of the stuff that's there, but add -done.doc. Well, let's get ready to do this. And every one of these files has this material here. It has the example verse from verse 7. It has that crosswire link that we talked about that you could go to, which if you double clicked on that would take you to this crosswire page like that. While we're here, in fact, let's set it up. Let's say you don't read Hebrew, so we'll go over here to the displayed modules and we'll get rid of the Westminster, which is the Hebrew. That gives us some more room. Let's say we want to add the New American Standard Bible with Strong's Concordance. We go down and display that. Double click. And just for the sake of room, we'll take out the English Standard Version because we're squeezing along on the screen here. You would actually likely want to keep it, but just to see it easier, we'll take it out. And there you have a text you can use. That's you got right off the bottom of this file. And of course, then you could navigate to by typing in the Bible references as you needed to go to the right place in this text. So, let's say we want to get ready to do this. We're going to learn how to search. We're going to go more. We're going to use wildcards. We're going to search for everything inside of curly braces, which means the command like that. \, left curly brace, asterisk, \, right curly brace. Find next. Well, now we see we found it. So we'll close that dialog box. And we see firmament's in the wrong place. It needs to be in expanse. And separated or divided the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the control page down, goes to the next highlight, and that will go with the expanse. And it was so. Okay, now here's a verse that needed fixing. Here's what it was supposed to look like when it's done. If you look up and down, the little changes we just made look like they're right. So that verse is done. Now let's get busy and work on actual text for a little while. And like I said, this introductory material is in every file. Let's go in the beginning. God created the heavens, highlighted because we have a difference, heaven or heavens. King James has singular, ESV has a plural, and the earth. Verse 1 is fine. The earth was, and here we get something that we'll see. Now let's talk about it in a moment. Without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering, or control page down to select it, moved over the face of the waters. Now here we got a problem. Is this preposition upon in the King James Bible, does that belong here or here? Or when we look, we may find it belongs in both places, and that the program didn't know what to do with that. Here's a good place to check on the Net Bible. If we go to our browser, go to the interlinear on the Tyndall House toolbar, and then go to Genesis 1, we get that text, as we mentioned, in the wrong order. We're going to go to verse 2, and we're going to select the reverse view, because we're checking that. Now the earth was in, and darkness was over, 05921 in our coding system, or 5921 here, and was moving over the surface of the water. Indeed, as I suspected, upon is the King James translation of that, occurs twice in there. So we would copy that and put it there as well. And God said, let there be light, and there was light, and God saw that the light was good, and we see that's misplaced, that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. Here we see a couple things to highlight. Separated looks good, divided is thing. And this is a good point to note. For any verb, you not only have the Strong's Concordance number, which is inside of square brackets. In the Old Testament, it's preceded by 0, and the New it's not. It doesn't have a 0 in front of it. But it also has something in parentheses, and that's the parsing code, which we won't try to decipher, but we do want to mean it stays with each verb as you move verbs around whenever you need to. Now we have one more problem. We have 0996 here to separated the light from 0996 the darkness. Well, let's go back to our Net Bible again, and let's see if we can find out what we're looking at there. And that's, oops, I forgot what verse I'm looking at. I'm looking at verse 3. We'll go to verse 3. And God said there be light, or is it verse 4? Oh, God separated, being an interval space between is the meaning of this word, between the light and from the darkness. Actually separated, being, light, being is used twice. That's what I thought. So, the way the text is tagged is correct here. Separated, if you would, very literalistic, and the light and God divided between the light and between the darkness, if you would be real literalistic. So it stays that way. If you had something like that and you were doubtful about it, the thing to do would be make a note at the top, like we at the spot for that, and say check on 0996 in verse 4. But it's fine. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening, and there was morning the first day. And God said, let there be an expanse or firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it separate or divide the waters from the waters. And God made the expanse. We see the words out of place there. That would be the word firmament again, the expanse. And he separated the waters which, or that, were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse, or in the